On this episode, we're talking about our latest trip, which included a stay at the Fairfield Inn and Suites, as well as dining at Enchanted, Citrico, and the Boathouse. Today is January 21st, 2022, and this is episode 428 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I am your host, Jeremy Stein, and I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at MainSTMagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. And if you hit that subscribe button, you'll get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. But if you want even more content, which includes in-park, resort, at-home live streams, discounts on Main Street Magic merchandise, and a whole lot more, visit wonderlandcrew.com to check out our Patreon group. And finally, if you're getting ready to plan that next Disney vacation, maybe a vacation at Universal Studios, going on a cruise, or pretty much traveling anywhere else in the world, head to msmears.com to learn more about our wonderful travel partner, Melissa Pilgrim, with years of experience, and fill out a form for a free quote. So this was our opening weekend trip to Festival of the Arts. And if you go back one episode, you can go ahead and hear all about how that went, including our thoughts on the festival offerings, as well as all the different food and everything that we tried, right? Mm-hmm. So this time, we are going to cover the rest of the weekend.
You know what I just realized we didn't talk about, though, real quick?
What? Oh,
Back
please
to
share.
Festival of the Arts. We didn't like their merchandise for pass holders or like the actual art.
Thank you for bringing up merchandise.
And I was super sad. They usually have at this time, I believe it's this time. I don't think it's Flower and Garden, but they have these screen print shirts.
Yeah.
That we usually...
Now, we got the flannels last year, and it was 100% Festival of the Arts. I was wearing my black one with the what the heck? I got Villains. Right?
No,
Or you got Villains.
I got Villains. You got Mickey.
I got Mickey, where they were screen printing right in front of you.
Yeah, it was super
and
cool.
I wanted another flannel this year. So, yeah, I was a little disappointed that was not there. Thank you for bringing this up. I do feel that the merchandise overall was lacking.
Yeah.
Especially when we just got the most shockingly, incredibly awesome merchandise for Festival of the Holidays.
Yeah, so
all
honestly,
surrounded around Olaf and Frozen.
Kind of happy about it because then I didn't have to have everything.
We saved a lot of money.
We did.
Yeah, we did. So yeah, little disappointed in that, but some other people might see it and love it.
Yep.
The one pass holder little light hoodie, I don't know. I may still want, but it just didn't scream Festival of the Arts.
I agree.
I didn't think any of their stuff screamed Festival of the Arts.
I
It was
agree.
not bad. I just think there was a misconnection.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So before we get into talking about Fairfield Inn and Suites and we talk about some of our dining experiences outside of the festival, we do have a couple shout outs.
Oh, okay.
And Rhonda's going to have the first one, who actually waited for us outside of Mickey and Minnie's because you just didn't feel like dealing with the scene that you don't care for that makes your little motion sick. But I come out and Rhonda's got a new best friend.
Brooke, the amazing cast member. She was fantastic. It was just so nice to talk to her, get to talk to her for a little bit. You know, it started us talking because guest came out and unfortunately said that it broke down and can we get a fast pass?
Oh, directly to her?
Yes.
Oh.
And when he walked away, I looked at her and I kind of just rolled my eyes and it just kind of got us talking. And, you know, just from there, she just, you know, we just talked about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And she's amazing and very sweet and she loves still giving magic. And so she loves her job. And I love that. And I love still hearing that.
Yeah. Yeah. She was very sweet. And then I came out and you introduced me to her and we chatted just for a couple more minutes. This is the gift shop exiting Mickey and Minnie's, which, you know, I love, and I know, you know, they converted obviously into Mickey and Minnie's from the great movie ride, but I really like this idea of a gift shop that is not your standard funnel you through an exit where you're forced technically to walk through a gift shop. I like this little almost kiosk. And honestly, for me, it catches my eye a little bit more.
Okay.
if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
And Brooke working there was wonderful. So it was so nice to meet her. We'll talk about our real quick Saturday evening. We had our first ever like Main Street Magic community style meetup at Bar Riva.
Yeah. That was
Of
super
course,
fun.
we got to see Chris, Ken, Marcy, who we love to death over there.
Oh, absolutely.
And we had a wonderful turnout. We can't even name everyone, but we want to thank everyone that came out
Yes.
and took time.
It was so nice talking to everybody and hanging out.
It was amazing. It was one of those things that's so funny. We used to do a yearly Christmas party at our house.
Yeah.
Right? And I grew up and my parents always did one. And I said, when I moved here and you and I got together and we got married, I said, I want to start a yearly tradition. And every year we did it, and it grew and grew and grew to the point where we'd have like 40 to 50 people at our house.
Yeah.
And it's such a hard thing to be able to just catch up with everyone and devote the time you need.
Right.
So I do apologize if I didn't get to chat with someone or whatever, but you know, it was so neat to see so many wonderful listeners and friends and make new friends. Was absolutely awesome. We did get a chance to visit home real quickly on our way to Epcot Sunday, right?
Sunday.
Yeah, on our way to Epcot Sunday. We did stop by Coronado Spring.
Yep.
And we got to meet a new friend, Nicole,
Yep.
in Kronos Club,
Yep.
who was absolutely wonderful and took several minutes to listen to me blabber on, as I tend to do when we start talking about Disney.
That's true.
And it was just great. And she had actually come, she's recent in the resorts. She had come from parks and was there for 2.5 years working on Ratatouille and working with Ratatouille to the point that, you know, back to she was walking through in a hard hat.
That's
and so it was so cool to hear that experience. Brett on the bus then.
Yeah, that was super fun and then super neat.
That was so neat. Yeah, talk about that. Because this is technically, because Lucy did correct me, but technically this was the first time I feel like this has happened. That somebody asked.
Yeah, so Brett, we go to get on the bus, and unfortunately there was a little just standing room, which Jeremy said I could go sit, and I'm like, no, I'm okay, because the girls were there and I was fine standing. And so we were standing by this guy with a stroller, and he saw Jeremy. Him and Jeremy were about the same height, and he saw Jeremy's hat, and he was like, I like your hat. And I guess he saw our button, which we hit 1 million downloads. So again, thank you everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Without y'all, we would not hit 1 million downloads.
Well, we would technically have, how many episodes times me listening to them one time? We'd have like 500.
Or our
because
parents.
It would have just been me.
I mean.
Okay, so we'd be about 1,000 maybe.
We're at 1 million. So we were celebrating, and we had a celebration button on. And he saw it. And then I guess with me and you talking, he just goes, wait, are you Main Street Magic? And we were like, yeah. And he was like, I recognized you by your voices. And I was like,
that's crazy.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. But
That's
I thought
awesome.
it was so cool. And
Yeah.
then we talked to him the
The
whole
whole way.
Beautiful, nice, sweet family. They're down from Georgia. They were down from Georgia.
Yep.
So
Staying at Coronado for the first time and loving it. And then, he hit me up on Instagram, which I always love as well. And finally, shout out to Lily, who was outside waiting in Japan. She saw my hat, loved it, because I was wearing my Be Nice to Cast Member hat, of course, which you can get at mainstreetshirts.com.
Yeah,
as well as shirts with that. But anyway, she was a new security cast member.
Nice.
Comes from a family of cast members and security cast members.
Wow.
And so we just chatted for a little bit because the girls were in the store shopping and all with you guys. And so I just thought that was real cool.
Awesome.
One last thing we want to note is that we did learn about the recovery bus if the Skyliner is down.
Yes, and Sunday was a very windy day.
Yes.
And I'm
thankful that they're going to close it during that, because if I got up in that sucker and it was a rocking, well, I'd be knocking to get off of it.
Please come and knock.
Please come knocking and save me. This is scary.
So they did, of course they don't know when it's going to come back up and stuff like that. So with that being said, we kind of asked the cast member, what do we do now?
We're heading to Bar Riva.
Yep.
Surprise.
Yep.
Again, second day.
The cast member told us to go actually straight through beach, and they'll have a recovery bus for us. So two recovery buses.
They had two ready to rock.
So
they were on point. Very impressed.
We got on the bus, and the bus actually kind of filled up. It starts taking us. Well, it stopped at Art of Animation first, then Pop Century, then Caribbean Beach, then Riviera.
Yeah.
And every stop, like it would stop and then it would start playing music to the next one where we were going out.
Which I always love, the theme music
Yeah.
to whatever one you're
So
going
cool.
to next.
But when we stopped at Caribbean Beach and everybody got off, and when it went to Riviera, the music got so loud.
I'm going to insert your snort here.
I couldn't hear myself think. Like, it was freaking ridiculous, man.
It was like a rave.
It was insane. We're like, what? Like, I mean, it was, oh my goodness. And so, in all honesty, and this is where I hate to like not be sunshine and rainbows, but if I was staying at Riviera, first of all, it is the first stop on the Skyliner. So I
Yeah.
was super surprised. We literally passed Riviera technically to go to Art of Animation, then Pop, and then Caribbean Beach. I was talking with a client yesterday. She was thinking, Riviera is such a smaller place. Maybe that's why they were going to the bigger places first, because then you have a bus load and maybe half the bus gets off. Whereas you go to Riviera and you might only have like 2 or 3 people to get off.
Yeah.
And I understand that and I respect that. But at the same time, the prices, the DVC points, the things you're going to spend at Riviera, if I was staying there, or if I would have had a Topolino's reservation and I was late, I would have probably kindly said, I'm just shocked. And then why is this the way it is?
Yeah, it took us a good half hour plus to end up getting there. And again, we weren't staying there. We can't complain. But
no, and we didn't. And
and logistically, I do understand, especially what you just said, a much smaller resort, even kind of, it just, what I would have done, especially because we walked out for 2 buses, is I wish they would split them based on whatever they have going on. Again, this takes staffing. This takes a lot. I would do a Riv Caribbean bus, and then I would do a Pop Art bus maybe.
No.
And just whatever. Again, not a big deal. We say this more to
let
make
you
people
know.
aware
Yes,
of the recovery
absolutely.
bus system.
And
because
if you're
I thought we were going to be at Riviera within 5 minutes.
I did
and it
too.
was over 30 minutes
Right.
is all. So it
Right.
doesn't matter. It just,
Correct.
we want this information to
and
be out
we
there.
want you to know, because if you are staying at Riviera, you just be prepared.
Yeah.
I mean,
at that
that's
point,
all.
if I had known, I would have been very interested at that moment. Like, I would love to time it. Sounds like such a touring plans thing to do. I would love to time it, and one person gets on the bus, and one person, when they find out at the Skyliner station, calls an Uber and race safely, but we race.
Yeah.
Let's do that one time. Next time it's windy, we're
Yeah,
just gonna
but-
head straight there and be like, we got
But then
some
you just
research to
paid
do.
for stuff.
I understand that, but time is money
Well,
sometimes.
true.
You know what I mean?
True.
Like, for me, if we could have gotten there in 5 minutes, I'd have gladly paid $10 instead of waiting 35 minutes
Yeah.
and possibly ruining my eardrums for the rest of my life. So
Okay.
that loud music was just nothing I've ever experienced.
I mean,
it was crazy.
We were just laughing about it, really.
And it's one of those things, I'm so glad it happened, because we'll laugh about it forever. Do you remember, because my brother and I say this to each other at least once a month, do you remember the trip where we got on the bus and we were there in, I believe, February? No, I think we were there in November. It was just the boys and my brother and my parents and us.
Uh-huh.
And normally, I think the bus was expecting it to be cold, the driver. That day was a little bit hotter, and he had the heat on.
Yeah.
And I just remember we're all standing there. It's a
really
packed
good. Why
bus.
is it
Yeah, we
so
were
hot?
we were nuts to butts. Yeah, and this guy yells out, and he thought he was the hero, and he's like, "It's so hot. This is unbelievable." And not a single person like chirped up like, "Yeah, man, you go." Everybody was just like, "Dude, really?"
Yeah, but it was hot.
And all the times, just something will happen, and my brother and I will say to each other like, "This is unbelievable." And it's just
that,
all right.
okay.
Probably not as good of a story as it was in my mind before I said it.
Probably not.
All right, let's
Just
move
kidding.
on to the Fairfield Inn and Suites at Flamingo Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back to episode 426, just a week ago,
Yep.
We did a pros and cons of off-property or on-property versus off-property.
Yep.
We talk extensively about third-party apps. We talk extensively about, again, the advantages and disadvantages to on-property and off.
Yes.
One thing I do want to clear up from some awesome comments. We were specifically talking hotels/resorts.
Yeah.
Airbnb, Verbo. Did you know it's pronounced Verbo? I just called it VRBO. I didn't know we were putting a pronunciation to it.
Yeah.
I get it
think
now.
somebody said it's Verbo, and I was like, oh.
Verbo, Airbnb are absolutely incredible options. Some of the things we do want to look into this year are staying at an Airbnb.
Yes.
And then doing an episode on the comparisons.
Right.
We did not feel it necessary to bring it up during this specific episode,
Right.
because we haven't personally experienced it.
Right.
If you guys have ever listened to this show, we do not like to talk about things we don't personally experience.
Correct.
So just to say that real quick, but go listen to that. This resort is new. This is roughly a year or so old.
Okay.
Flamingo Crossing area. Rana, talk a little bit about Flamingo Crossing area. We have been going here for a couple years now.
Oh, it's great.
Usually we visit Marriott's Spring Hill Suites and Town Place Suites, which we absolutely adore and love. We love Marriott properties.
Yep.
Talk about this area and what's currently happening with it in the state of this area.
Blowing up.
Yeah.
But so if you're very familiar with Disney property, if you are at Coronado going towards Animal Kingdom, or vice versa, going from Animal Kingdom going towards Coronado or even Disney Springs area, when you pass, there's a light and it's called Western Way. If you take that Western Way down, and you will pass and leave and sign, and it'll say "see you real soon," which is really cool, because I'd say about 2 more minutes after you pass that sign, you're turning into the Flamingo Crossing area. And it's hysterical because every time we see it, I'm like, "see you real soon." Yeah, tomorrow morning. See you.
I know.
See you tomorrow morning. So yeah, and it's past there. So it's, I think about maybe 5 miles, if that.
Yeah.
Once you turn onto Western Way down there. And yeah, so there's a Five Guys down there, a Target, a Starbucks,
Walgreens.
a Walgreens. You can walk from your resort / hotel. I mean, it is suites. So, and they do have pools. So, I mean, you can almost call it a resort. So you can walk to a Starbucks. Like the other morning, it was freezing. So, if you do have a car, but it is walking distance if you don't, and you do have to, if you do Uber the whole time. Yeah,
we were looking at, so our Uber rides, and you mentioned a lot of great little new restaurants and quick service casual places, and the Target. It's a smaller Target, but still
it is, but it's a
perfect
Target.
there.
Like if you forget something, and I'm sure we have not gone in there yet, and we need to. In fact, the next time we do stay in Flamingo Crossing, I will make an appointment to go in, because I bet they have a ton of Disney stuff.
I bet, yeah.
And that's something cheaper if you don't want to buy it.
And this place isn't even close to being done.
No, it's not.
I mean, there's so much more that is opening and coming here that this is going to be its own little area and nightlife and all types of things. And, again, I think that gives it a little bit more of a resort stay. There's about 6 hotels there. We have now stayed at 4 out of 6. I believe we need to do the Homewood Suites, and we need to do the Residence Inn.
Okay.
And then we'll have done all 6.
And now are these all Hilton? I mean Marriott, excuse me.
No, it's a combination. I believe Homewood and Home 2 are Hilton. Fairfield, Spring Hill, and
Residence?
Town Place are all Marriott.
Okay.
Residence Inn, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
But again, you have but here's another great one you want to talk about that, we didn't really touch base on that episode on property versus off is points.
Oh, a lot of people,
you can earn points. You can earn free stays.
Right.
Things like that. Or if you have
them, you can use them.
Or if you have them, you can use them.
Yep.
A lot of times based on travel, based on other, again, hotel stays, around the country. Especially if you're if you're somebody who travels for business and you earn, these Marriott points, you could potentially go here and have a completely free stay because the prices are wonderful.
And the reason I was asking you that, babe, is because we just do love Marriott and Hilton. Like, we really like their brands. Is that the right word?
100%. That is the right word.
Awesome.
So we love these areas. This hotel was absolutely wonderful. They have a fitness center. They have swimming, which we had a overview of the pool,
Yeah.
which did look
It was
very good.
Very cute. Yeah.
We just didn't have a chance
It was
that weekend, and it was
freezing,
cold.
and, yeah, I didn't see anybody in the pool.
No, not the whole time we were there. And we
No.
literally were looking down at the pool
Yep.
from the 3rd floor. So actually, I liked our view in that sense. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They do have, and I did not see this there, but they have a state-of-the-art sports court with a mini soccer field with turf, batting cages, and a basketball court.
Wow.
They do have a lobby bar,
Mm-hmm.
which has local drink specialties and cook-to-order shareables. They have the Flying Flamingo, which again we saw next to the pool, which has poolside cabana offering tropical cocktails and smoothies, hot food items, and all the drink umbrellas you can handle.
Oh.
Challenge accepted.
Mm.
What is the one thing, and you were wonderful for bringing this up in that episode about on versus off property. What is the one thing that this has that all 6 have that I think is a key factor, and we actually take advantage of,
Yes.
which is we don't normally eat breakfast, but
It's free breakfast.
Yes.
And when we say free, it is usually free hot breakfast. I think out of all of them so far, I'm going to go ahead and say I do love Home 2 breakfast the best.
The best.
So far.
I like their little bowls.
Those were good. Here was really good. Their eggs, really good.
Those are outstanding.
They had their same, which I feel like has been across the properties out here, is that little cute egg and cheese, like air quote omelet. Where it's just folded over. But so the new that I've never had is called a vegetable sausage.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, it's weird, but it was so good. You'd take a bite, and I don't know why, I don't know what, but I was like, I want another bite.
The seasoning was
And
so
another one.
good.
I mean, I ate 2, I think, the second day.
Yeah.
And then
I love breakfast sausage.
Yeah.
I love pork or
Mhm.
beef sausage, right?
This was vegetable. I don't even know what that means.
They're usually a little bit greasy. They make you feel a little heavy going to a park. So normally I'll opt for like a turkey sausage.
Right.
Lighter, but it never packs the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
This veggie sausage packed the flavor of a normal pork or beef sausage,
So
breakfast sausage, without the greasiness or the heaviness.
Yep.
And yeah, we worked our way through a good 8 or 9 total over the course of the couple
Probably.
days we were there.
And then
They
of
Canadian
course,
bacon.
Canadian bacon. But other than that, and then you got some like oatmeal and stuff like that. But that's your real hot breakfast. And then of course they always have, which I love, is your golden malted
Yeah.
Disney Mickey waffles.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes they have the big one, and then sometimes they have all 4 little ones. I do believe
This was only the little ones that I
only
saw.
little, I think. Yep.
And they're all hot and fresh and made to order because you
Do
get
it
to make
yourself.
them yourself, which I really like. So, yeah, I mean, wonderful juices. They've got every bread you can think of,
milks.
cereal.
Yep.
Like, this is a game changer. And even to go in and go, we didn't ended up getting one because we were heading out, but like bottles of water,
Mhm.
you can go down there and just say, you know what, I'm getting ready to head to the park. I had breakfast. Let me get a bottle of water to go, or get my coffee to go. So I think that is a huge advantage to this whole area, especially the Mickey waffles.
Oh, yeah.
So for rooms, you've got a couple different room options you can book.
Okay.
One is a king room.
Mm-hmm.
One is a 2-queen room, which we had.
Mm-hmm.
There is a 2-queen corner room if you really want to get fancy.
I
You got
guess that
more
must be
windows,
or
right?
bigger.
Probably a little bit bigger. Then you have a suite, which includes 1 king and a sofa bed. And then you've got a suite, which includes 2 queens and a sofa bed. All of these have a microwave and a fridge.
Mm-hmm.
All of these have a little workstation, of course, your TV,
Right.
your coffee maker.
I really like the microwave and the refrigerator. It's a little bit bigger refrigerator than your normal Disney. The microwave I really liked because if like we brought back, something from the boathouse, like we could warm that back up if we were hungry. Or a couple of times that morning we were lazy, which was fantastic.
So nice.
So I had
I love
coffee.
their blinds.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, explain the secondary blind, which would be like a blackout curtain. Real quick, I don't mean to interrupt, but
No, it wasn't.
we got a room with a view.
Well, it wasn't a blackout curtain, but it was one of those where, how do I explain it? where you have the chain and you roll it down and like the sun will come through, but yet it's not blackout, but it was actually like this green foresty looking. It was really cool. It was really cool.
When the sun shined through, you felt like you were just in the middle of like a rainforest or something.
It kind of was really cool. But yeah, and then the microwave, you know, just to warm things up, that's fantastic, especially like, you know, when you're staying off property and, you know, you do maybe go somewhere and eat and then take food back. And then maybe later you're like, I want a midnight snack. And you don't want to go buy something. So.
Yeah. And so we were on the 3rd floor. The room is, again, this is another thing you're going to get that we talked about that episode, is that rooms are always bigger than Studio Disney rooms.
Right.
There's a lot of great storage, all that type of stuff. And we were in an ADA compliant room.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so in general, you know, throughout all of these hotels, the rooms are definitely larger. With some of these, there are some other, how do I want to say, they have to change it around a little bit to allow for the compliance, correct?
Right. They had handrails around the toilet. And then it was like, and I don't know if this is in every room. I would think that it's not. And there was a big spot, it looked like, to be able to park wheelchair or whatever to get into the tub. So
and here's my one thing, and I'm actually, again, this is one of those times where I'm so glad we were in this room, and I want to be able to share some information that I found surprising, is that as you, of course, come through the door, everything is very wide open. So if it is very wheelchair accessible, which is so important.
Or your
scooter. Yes,
that
you know, ECV. And of course, you know, I've had to unfortunately go through some times that I needed an ECV at Disney.
Yep.
And man, does it make a difference when you can come into a room and have space to move around. I've always been very fortunate enough that I could get up and, you know, walk or go to where I needed to. The one thing I did find a little bit interesting was that in that area where you said that was very wide open next to the tub, to be able to just say put a wheelchair or an ECV in the tub area, there were no handrails. So my only concern would be, and again, we put this out there for information, that anybody that would require this to get in and out of the tub, I think. So again, just want to put that out there for information if this is a hotel you're looking at staying at. Also, the beds are lower to the ground for easier accessibility to get in and out of.
Yep.
So again, I'm glad that we got this so that we can help, you know, again, review and tell people about this that are looking here. What are your kind of overall thoughts on the Fairfield Inn and Suites? I mean, again, we love the Marriott properties. My only thing would be is that this one I think is perfect because the price is right.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're looking for more cooking in your room, the way that Town Place Suites offers, which again is a Marriott property as well.
Correct.
So I don't think you can go wrong.
No.
Honestly, you can't go wrong with any of the properties so far.
And it was funny because Lucy and Caleb were staying at Town Place Suites. And honestly, like I said, you know, like I was saying that the Starbucks is walking distance and everything's walking distance. We actually Ubered together one night and it dropped us off at their hotel. And it was just a nice little walk to our hotel. It's not crazy busy yet there where there's major traffic. And it's gonna
be though.
But, you know, just pay attention and, you know, because there was a, what do you call it, main road that we had to walk across where we were staying. But yeah, we walked with the kids the one night too. Yeah, it's great. So it's great for a family of multiples staying, like, you know, cousins and sisters and brothers. And if you can't get all at one place, but yet, you know, you have a whole bunch of options here over at Flamingo Crossing, that's a thought process.
Yeah, and pop from one hotel to the other, I think is very, very easy.
Yep.
All right, so we did not just stay at a hotel.
No, we
did
didn't.
not just eat at Festival of the Arts.
Nope.
We also ate at several restaurants that we have been at before. But we want to give you some updates as we like to do because, of course, it's not the end all to be all when we do a restaurant review.
Right.
We like to update anytime we can. And the first one we're going to do is Friday night. as we made our way over to Grand Floridian. Huge thank you to Rachel and Steve for being our chauffeurs from Flamingo Crossing. We split up and all went. We had a wonderful party of 6 going over there for dinner. And we decided to stop at the Enchanted Rose. Lucy and Caleb had not been. They were very interested to try it.
She's a very big Beauty and the Beast fan as well.
Yes, just like you. Yep. And so we decided to stop there, and we're all pretty hungry. So we're like, let's get some light bites because that's what they have. They serve food from 5 to 10 p.m. And we were going to get that as we waited on our Citrico reservation. So we got a couple different items. One was the crab macaroni and cheese, which is crab, a gnocchetti sardi, Mornay sauce, and citrus breadcrumbs for $16. There are truffle fries, shaved black truffles, and 18-month aged Parmesan for $14. And the mini smoked brisket sliders. These include blue cheese and onion marmalade on split top buns for $16. Let's talk about these, but first I think we can say all 3 of these were flipping awesome.
Yeah. Let's start though with the drinks. I love the Amore.
Yes.
And I was going to get that. And unfortunately they did not have the tea ready, which he said takes 24 hours to
bloom
I don't know, to get ready.
That's amazing.
Because I think it came in.
Yeah.
But I guess they don't rush this process.
Which is absolutely
amazing.
Outstanding to hear.
Because, I mean, what happens if I'd have gotten it? They rushed it, and then I'd have been like, this tastes different.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
we've had it before.
I probably
one of our
wouldn't have
favorites.
done that, but yeah. So, saved us a little bit of money on that aspect. But
yeah, it's not cheap.
No, I think it's $21 for a drink.
Yep.
So anyways, moving on to the food. I was super excited because we have not eaten any food because we have not been here past 5 o'clock.
Yes, that's correct.
So we got everything and it was seriously amazing. The crab macaroni and cheese. Wow. Like that was outstanding. I wanted to keep going back for bites, but I didn't because I also wanted to eat dinner at Citrico's. So, and the truffle fries, they were great. I did not eat the mini smoked brisket, but you can talk about that because you did.
Yeah, I did. I mean, and I'll go back. The crab mac and cheese, this gnocchetti pasta, it's kind of, it's like a thicker shell pasta. So, and what I love about a pasta like that, same thing that you use elbows, anything with a hole in it that can hold cheese and sauce, right? Hold the Mornay sauce, the crab. It's that perfect crab flavor without being overpowering.
And what did you say to Rachel? You said, this Maryland boy.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's Maryland approved.
Yep.
Maryland boy approved. Truffle fries. I've heard incredible things about these. These are a thicker fry. We love the Parmesan fries over at Bar Riva. These are probably going to take over in kind of a top fry spot. I like the thicker cut. I think, again, the shaved black truffles, the aged parm, these were so good. And the mini smoked brisket sliders were just perfection.
Good.
Real tender brisket.
Good.
I love the balance of this onion marmalade and the blue cheese. And the split top bun, it was very much a traditional lobster roll split top bun. Griddled kind of on each side, nice and buttery. They're small little slider bites, like the size of if you split top a really thick Hawaiian roll, King's Hawaiian roll.
Yep.
So I could totally see, this is considered kind of those light bites or apps or almost tapas.
Yep.
I think you can go here and have a meal. I mean, if you got just yourself the sliders and the fries, it's a $30 meal.
Yeah.
I think it would be well spent $30, to be honest. And you would come out full and very, very satisfied and happy.
I agree.
Those are our thoughts. Of course, we had some other wonderful people with us. So this is where we're going to have some guests, right?
Ooh.
Just to make life simple with the way that the week is gone and everybody's very, very busy getting back from our 4-day weekend. We asked our wonderful friends that have joined us on this trip. So let's go ahead and kick it off to Rachel.
Hey guys, it's Rachel. Jeremy and Rhonda asked me to give my thoughts on the dishes I had when we all went out and had a bite at Enchanted Rose. So let's get right into it. We went to the lounge just to hang out before dinner. This was my first time at Enchanted Rose. It's so pretty. I'm glad we finally got to experience it. I do not drink, but I was very interested in eating. So I decided to go ahead and order some food before we went to dinner. So for the table, I ordered us the crab macaroni and cheese for $16, the truffle fries for $14, and the mini smoked brisket sliders for $16. I honestly thought that all of these were great. I'm sure Jeremy and Rhonda have already said what their thoughts were, but it seemed to be a consensus among the table that all three were very good. Crab macaroni and cheese was very cheesy. I didn't get my cheese pull. I was a little disappointed by that, but the crab in there was legit. I think Jeremy even said, as a Maryland boy, he wholeheartedly approves. It was very tasty. The mini smoked brisket sliders came in these hot split top buttered buns, very toasty, so good and warm. And the brisket, blue cheese, and onion marmalade that's on them, they all work together really good. But my favorite dish was actually the truffle fries. They were very simple, but just really good. The shaved black truffles and that 18-month aged Parmesan, everything just worked really well. I'd go back again and just order that. It was a good experience. I'd definitely go back again. It's a bit pricey, but, it's an experience, so I definitely recommend doing it.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks,
And
girl.
now, a quick thought from Lucy and Caleb, who have been absolutely slam-packed since they got back from our wonderful trip this past weekend. So Lucy went ahead and sent me everything through text message to give us their thoughts. And they absolutely loved the truffle fries. Lucy said they were the bomb. The Island Rose was tasty, but it seemed out of place. And Lucy felt that it was more like a drink that would be appropriate for the Polynesian resort over at Tamboo Lounge. Lucy, Caleb, thank you for your wonderful opinions and thoughts as well. All right, let's move on to Citricos, right?
Yeah.
So we were here not that long ago. It was actually back in August for our first time dining. If you go back to episode 386, you can hear our full dining review, which included Rachel as well.
Yes.
Who did another kind of call-in message, which we appreciate so much. Again, go back and listen to that. That's going to give you all the details. We just want to talk about the food we had because it's new to us and it's new to us reviewing it for you.
Yes.
Rhonda, let's start off with first of all, you know what we have to start off with?
Our
amazing
waiter that we had
Giovanni.
Again, which you said, let's ask for him.
Yeah.
And when we checked in, I believe Lucy was checking us in. And when she did, she didn't say anything. You kind of said Giovanni, but nobody heard you. And then we just we're all hanging out and we were just kind of like, we're going to take who we can get. And then I do not remember the amazing cast member that sat us, but when they did, they said, waiter Giovanni will be with you soon. And we were all like,
cheers.
Yes. And they were like, oh. So, and then I think they went and told possibly Giovanni to be like, hey, these people are excited
Super
to see
excited
you.
to see you.
So hopefully you know them.
He is he's so knowledgeable. He's so friendly. He's so smart. He's so funny. Like, again, he knows his stuff, which I appreciate very much. And he would only just solidify all of our thoughts about him as we tried our first course, you and I. And again, we'll get into some additional thoughts from some of our friends, but let's talk about the first course, Rhonda, which was the citrus cured hamachi.
What is this, Jeremy?
Well, this is has a passion fruit, a compressed star fruit, pasilla oil and blood orange, a puffed tapioca. This is your yellowtail hamachi, the style served sushi fish in a sense,
right,
for $21.
Yep.
Right. What did you think of this?
I did not like it.
No, I did not either.
It was not the fish. The fish tasted very good,
so fresh and
fresh. And it wasn't that I ate the fish and was like, ugh, this is not good. I'm scared that I'm going to be sick. No, this was all of the combined the compliments with it. I did not like. It just didn't do good. So we just stopped eating it. We gave a bite to our friends, and it was amazing because Giovanni came over and he asked a question, and we were like, no, we just didn't like it. So he actually said, I'll take it off the bill. And we were like, oh, no. That's not why we were saying it. We just, it's not bad. So
he asked our opinion, and we gave it to him because we love Giovanni.
Correct. And then he said, because we were so adamant on, no, don't take it off the bill. Like, this is not bad. We do not like this as a whole. He said, let me bring you some soy sauce. And we're like, okay. Oh my goodness. He brought the soy sauce, dropped it off. We took the fish, picked it up, and then drudged it through the soy sauce just lightly. Took a bite. It was melt in your mouth amazing.
It was very good at that point.
It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good. Like I said, the fish itself wasn't bad. It was everything together. You'd put, like, my personal opinion, and I don't know if I could ask for this the next time. You take the same dish, in my opinion, you take the same dish and I can go back and go, Giovanni, can I have this? But can you just put like soy sauce over top of it?
Yeah.
I would eat this again and again. It was fantastic.
And there may be a lot of people that love it. Obviously, this is at Grand Floridian. This is Flavors of Florida. This is Citricos. Everything is very citrus based, which I totally appreciate and understand. The citrus just didn't work, and that's fine.
Yep.
But I'm very glad we got to try this and kind of experience that way.
Yeah.
We have been on a healthier diet and health food kick.
Yes.
And while we don't plan to be super strict at Disney, we certainly weren't if you listen to our Festival of the Arts review, as we ate 3 empanadas over the course of the weekend, stuffed with potatoes and chorizo.
Right. But we started figuring, because of like sit-down dinners like this, that we have eaten other things that maybe we could try and be on that healthier kick and go, all right, well, like today, Citricos, we already ate other food here. Let's do the remoulade of chicken.
Yeah.
So this is braised kale, corn cake, romesco sauce.
Romesco sauce, my
Romesco
love.
sauce. Okay. And roasted turnips. And this is $38. So what'd you think?
The chicken was absolutely cooked to perfection.
It was.
This was a good portion to share. It was so tender.
I think it was
and
almost too
beautifully
perfect.
presented.
It was.
Yeah.
I think it was almost too perfect because I was like, is this still good? Like, is this, it's not raw, right?
Oh, because
like,
it was so it was fork tender.
It was. And it was, and I'm like, no, of course it is. Like, Jeremy's eating it. Like, you can see it. And I'm like, okay. But it was just so tender and amazing.
I'm not a huge kale fan.
I like the braised kale.
You love kale. I thought it tasted good for somebody who doesn't enjoy kale. For me, I would have been like, if it would have been spinach, I'd have preferred a spinach just because that's more of the green that I like.
Yep.
But it was cooked perfect. It was flavored perfect. There's just an overarching taste of kale that I didn't care for. But it's probably the most kale I've ever eaten in one sitting, to be honest.
Okay.
So the romesco sauce was very light.
Yeah.
It added wonderful flavor. And that probably helped a little bit with the chicken. You know, again, chicken cooked to perfection is still nice and tender.
Yep.
So I really, really enjoyed this dish.
Yeah.
Citricos, I think if you listen to our last episode and full review as well, is just an absolute standout spot on property. It's everything from that evening. We were a little bit casual with a group of friends, having a good time and chatting,
so
to
fun.
you and I having that date night.
Yes.
It's certainly a place you could get dressed up, but you don't got to get too crazy. I accidentally, because remember last time I made a point when we went to Enchanted Rose prior to say, there is a dress code. Are we okay? Because we were getting ready to walk into Boo Bash after.
Yes.
So we had shorts and t-shirts. I think you had a tank top.
I had a tank top, yeah.
I had a hat on, and he said the only thing you really need to do is remove your hat.
Yep.
And I was like, okay. And I apologize. I 100% forgot this time, but they were quick to pull from the hip as soon as I walked in and said, sir, you need to remove your hat. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, well, Rhonda's so busy at work, I haven't been able to get a haircut. So this is on you. Everything going up top here, this
it wasn't
this
that
mop
bad.
top, that's on you guy or you, Rhonda. So anyway, let's go ahead and push it back over to our friend Rachel, who's going to give her thoughts on her meal.
Once we sat down to dinner, because of what we had at Enchanted Rose, I definitely was not going to order an appetizer at that point. We had already ate quite a bit, along with Enchanted Rose and then being at the festival earlier that day. So I went ahead and ordered just my water, and I also ordered a 0 proof cocktail because I do not drink. I went ahead and ordered the Purple Penguin. It's a mix of pineapple, peach, lemon, lavender, grenadine, and it's topped with house-made seltzer. It's only $7. For those of you who either don't drink or sometimes you're just seeking another option that doesn't have alcohol, I definitely recommend it. It tastes super refreshing and light. I would describe it as very vibrant. Rhonda tried it too, and I believe she really liked it as well. It's become my go-to drink when I go to Citricos. I've been there a few times, and I always get this. And it comes with a very cute penguin that the drink is poured out of. So, it's a nice, cute thing to have along with your drink. And you get about 2 servings out of that. So for $7, I actually think it's very well priced. Now, moving on to my entree, I got the domestic golden towfish. This is towfish served with a Jupiter rice chorizo risotto, Key West pink shrimp, and confit tomatoes. This is priced at $46. If you're into a white flaky fish like mahi or even flounder, I would recommend this. This seemed to have an almost Cajun-like seasoning on it. It appeared to be lightly seared. It was perfectly cooked. The risotto complemented it well with the chorizo, which gave it a really nice flavor. The shrimp were good too. Only thing that seems to be out of place with this dish were the tomatoes. They just seem to clash with the flavor profile of everything else. They honestly came across as tart and bland. In my opinion, they don't even need to be in the dish. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I get it again. I initially was struggling between the choice of getting this and steak, but I figured there's so many places on property you can get steak, so let me try something that's unique to the Citricos menu. So that's what I got. Don't regret it at all. Like I said, I just don't think the tomatoes are necessary. But overall, I had a great night at the Grand Floridian with my friends, having dinner and having those appetizers over at Enchanted Rose. Definitely recommend going to Enchanted Rose and Citricos if you have the chance. Hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts. Later. Bye.
Thank you, Rachel. Always wonderful
Yes,
to
thank you.
Rachel is, first of all, go I'll have to just tag her in the actual show notes because I can't remember it off the top of my head, but go follow her on Instagram. She is a foodie through and through. I love following her experiences dining at Disney, and she had some experiences because she was there for a week before we got there.
Yep.
So definitely make sure you check her out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead now and read Lucy and Caleb's review of their dining options at Citricos. And so I'm just going to read this verbatim because it makes it that much easier. She says, the bread service here is simple but delicious. The salted butter really elevates something that could be basic. We started with the strawberry salad, which was delicious. The chamomile-infused goat cheese was the star of the dish. I had the butter poached cobia, and it was amazing. I've never had cobia before, but I was so impressed with the cook and flavor. Caleb got the filet, and it was also very good. I only had one bite because he didn't want to share. Definitely recommend Citricos for a meal that is elevated in a space that is still very comfortable. Thank you all so much for sharing. We're going to hear from Lucy and Caleb again here in just a bit because unfortunately Rachel had to head out the next morning on Saturday.
Yes.
But Sunday evening, and I don't think I thanked her personally, so she'll be listening and I'll thank her. Thank you, Lucy, for booking some of these wonderful reservations for us, including the Boathouse.
Yeah.
On our, I'll call it closing night, Sunday.
Yeah. Yep.
If you've not heard us about the Boathouse, you might be a little new. You can go back to episode 89. We did our first ever Boathouse dining experience review. Episode 144. We did our second full Boathouse review of all new items.
Wow.
That was, I believe, when we went with Rob and Tina on New Year's Eve for lunch and all the kids.
A long time ago.
Episode 291. we have an inclusion about sitting down on the water in the lounge area when we went with Kat and Michael.
Yes.
And we had a few appetizers, but then we decided to move over to House of Blues at Disney Springs for dinner. And then most recently, episode 367, we did a dining review of the Boathouse for Father's Day Sunday brunch.
Yes.
And that is where the infamous Boathouse shrimp story comes from.
Oh my goodness.
Which might come up again.
Oh my goodness.
What is the maybe one of the best things about the Boathouse, Rhonda? And we
The
had a wonderful
rolls.
table, but
The
rolls, right?
The rolls. They're so good. And it's so funny because the brunch we've talked about before, they had like almost like a cinnamony type roll on top, and they were phenomenal. Normally it's just a regular like butter melted over the rolls, which is still flippin-tastic.
So good.
But yeah, and it was so funny because the butter with it's so good. And you know, we haven't been, like I said, we've been trying to eat better and stuff. So this weekend was fantastic.
Yeah, like,
we're going to do
all the bread.
Yep. And I was just going to say, we're going to try to do 80-20, which is going to work out perfect. 80% at home. We're going to eat good and we're going to do. And then that other 20%, we're going to be at Disney. We're going to eat whatever we want.
Yeah.
Whatever we want.
Yeah. The other 20%, I'm going to eat a
Rolls.
baker's dozen of rolls at
and
Boathouse.
rolls
Yeah,
and rolls.
pretty much. All right. So we're going to start off with what they call their launch. And first, and we'll hear more from Lucy and Caleb, but they ordered the Peel and Eat Key West shrimp. This is a half pound served hot with drawn butter and cocktail sauce for $16.
Mm-hmm.
These had flavor of shrimp.
And Jeremy, they were good.
They were fine.
They were just different sizes, which for Peel and Eat shrimp, I was actually
they were all over the place.
Yes.
They were not deveined, but they were not poopy filled either, which I think is okay. You know, it's so funny. I never even considered deveined shrimp until I saw Tommy Boy.
Okay.
And he ordered the shrimp cocktail. I won't get into that part, but
no, let's not.
Again, good flavor. This is a well-known seafood restaurant that delivers wonderful seafood, except for
shrimp.
But the thing is, like Lucy has said, they do a coconut shrimp that are huge, incredible shrimp. You can walk in and see on the raw bar giant shrimp.
Right. I wonder what makes them.
It.
I know, and I wonder what makes them go, all right, this we're gonna get the Publix bag out.
Right.
Of frozen shrimp, and we're gonna do this,
which has been my comparison.
So
Lou Mangello is a huge fan, from WDW Radio, and there's a lot of Boathouse discussion in that group, in that community, and so I actually posted all the pictures out, and I simply said something about I just don't get the shrimp in the entrees that we've had.
What'd they say?
Well, somebody responded, and it was the perfect way to respond. He basically said, Boathouse shrimp in entrees just aren't what they're cracked up to be, basically.
Oh, okay.
Now, there are some other items where I think shrimp is the star. This may have been a slightly off night. We did an 8:30 dinner reservation. It's a little bit later. It's on a Sunday.
Right.
We still know there's supply issues. These are one of those things I'm just speaking from the shrimp heart because I love shrimp.
I know.
Very, very much.
Yep.
But let's move on to what you and I got, which was the Maine lobster bisque for $8.
Oh my goodness, y'all. If you're going to go to Boathouse,
outstanding.
get this. It was so good.
Yeah.
I mean, holy moly.
This was
fantastic.
When you look at the picture, it almost looks like a tomato soup.
Oh,
it had such
so
rich flavor.
Yes.
And such rich lobster flavor.
Yes.
And it's not like you're getting chunks of lobster.
Right.
But honestly, I didn't miss it.
I didn't
because
either.
the flavor of lobster was so strong. This
So
is
good.
what I assume they're taking all of the shells from the lobster rolls, from any lobster dish. They are cooking this down into the most flavorful lobster broth. And that's what they're making this soup with tomatoes and whatever else they're using. This is really, really good. Yeah,
So
cream,
good.
lots of cream, butter, tons of butter.
So good.
I would get this.
Yes.
The girls were not hungry, so they were not going to order per
right,
se.
but somebody when we were ordering, I think you, Jeremy, said fries, and then Kaylin said something like, "Ooh, I want some fries." And again, we knew this was Sunday night. We knew Monday we were back to our 80%. So Jeremy was like, "Get your own fries." So we added actually a side order of fries for the girls, and it is truffle fries with a lemon aioli for $10. And I think they loved them, right?
They did.
They were eating them.
Yeah, this is a big bowl of fries. We've done these before. The truffle is just such an added flavor and pop.
Yep.
Again, I just dip them in ketchup. But I would probably put now Enchanted Rose number 1. I think these are number 2 in fries, and Bar Riva's number 3.
Okay.
These are the thinner cut fries. They're the same cut as regular Disney fries, but that truffle just sets them off like crazy. All right, Rhonda, from Sea and Shore, what did you order?
Well, I ordered, again, my last night, and I was looking at stuff, and I saw a pasta with vegetable and pesto cream. I love pasta, I love vegetables, and I love pesto cream.
This is the dish for you.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, so can I get this? But I wanted some shrimp in it because it said Sea and Shore. And she actually said, yes, absolutely. It was a question like, yes, do you want shrimp with it? And I was like, yes, please. So you got some butternut squash, mushrooms, tomatoes, and baby spinach. And again, these were shell little pastas that held the sauce really well. I do believe it was $19. I don't remember if it was more.
I'm going to guess it was
shrimp.
a $6 to $8 or so upcharge.
I'm going to probably agree. So when I got my dish, I'm not going to lie, and I'm going to be 100% honest. I had to look for my shrimp because the pasta and the shrimp are almost the same size. Yeah. It's these tiny baby shrimp. Basically, I don't know what Jeremy would call them.
They're like in the.
They're just tiny. They're like.
I don't know if it'd be as bad as like 5160s, but
shrimp.
yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Unbreaded popcorn shrimp.
I would call them. I would put them in a sense of like a. They're not that small, not like a salad shrimp or whatever, but they're small.
Yeah,
they're small. They're Publix,
but
medium, deveined, peeled, frozen shrimp. I wouldn't
say medium. They were small.
Small that you thaw out. And you just cook up real quick because you want to add them to a dish, which I understand.
That's fine.
The shrimp aren't supposed to be the star,
but I
think they should at a seafood restaurant.
Well, and I agree, but I honestly, I would have taken let's say 3. We'll say 3 big shrimp, so then I can cut everything in half, if not more, and then have 6. But I will say, here's the big but in this dish.
I like big butts, and I cannot lie.
They put a ton of shrimp in there.
Yeah.
A ton. I do almost feel like I was taking a bite of shrimp every time I took a bite.
Yeah.
So that was fantastic. Sometimes I didn't even know I was taking a bite because it was so small, but it still was there and it was good. I did enjoy it. It was fantastic because we got back home and I'm like, I want to eat it for lunch, but I really want to get back to my, eating right. And not unfortunately, fantastically enough, my children ended up eating it and they really, really liked it.
Kaylin loved it.
So that was super exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, the only reason I think I continue to bring up the shrimp here is because this is a seafood restaurant. Otherwise, I wouldn't. Right. If this wasn't known as a seafood restaurant, then I just think it would be different because I feel like that should be secondary. And again, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing bad about it.
Right.
Flavor-wise, I really do wish that they would put more into shrimp when we've seen larger, better, more flavorful shrimp across other areas in property that are not deemed
and I agree.
seafood.
I agree. Well, let's move on to what you had, my friend.
So I've had this before. I had to do it again.
Yeah.
They have a standard Maine lobster roll on the menu. It is the chilled Maine lobster. It's got a lemon chive dressing, butter toasted split top bun. It's served with fries for $29.50. This is the aioli based cold lobster roll,
Right.
which I just don't care for as much.
Right.
So I always get, which is technically off menu, the hot buttered lobster roll. It's so funny because this came to me at first, and the bun was a little bit different. The bun was different than normal.
Yeah,
it was not your standard split top bun.
I'm going to be honest. When he held it and the way it looked, I'm not going to lie. It looked like a breadstick from
It
Olive
did look like a
Garden.
really big breadstick, or it looked like a fancy hot dog bun.
Okay.
And I'm like, huh.
I was nervous for you.
And then I ate it, and I was like, what bun? Who cares about a bun? This thing was loaded with
It was
so much
loaded.
hot buttered lobster.
Yep.
Every single bite, like full claws sticking out. Just absolutely delicious. The bun was super soft. The bun was delicious, even though it wasn't that standard, griddled on both sides,
Right.
split top. Again, probably a supply issue. They ran out. They made the absolute next best thing. Don't care at all of what this bun was because everything worked together.
Well, good. And I'm
This
super
comes with
happy.
standard fries,
Yep.
which again, ate a lot of those along with the truffle fries.
Yep.
I cannot recommend this enough. Let's go ahead though, because Caleb did get the regular lobster roll, the Maine lobster roll. So I am now going to go ahead and read their thoughts. So again, verbatim from Lucy and Caleb. The bread service here are Parker House rolls with whipped butter, and they are delicious. We started with the peel and eat shrimp. They were amazing and served with house-made cocktail sauce. This was especially horseradishy. Actually, I'm going to interject and say I love that word, which Lucy prefers. She says, I got the filet served with the lobster Oscar enhancement. It came with Old Bay roasted potatoes. The potatoes were kind of a throwaway, but this is one of the best fillets I've had on property. The cook was a little bit on the rare side, and I asked for medium rare. I don't mind that, but it was too rare for Caleb to have more than a bite. Caleb got the lobster roll with fries and devoured it. He said it was amazing and would definitely order it again. We also got the additional side of roasted sweet potato with cinnamon butter, and it was fantastic. Again, cannot recommend Boathouse enough. Thank you again, guys. We love having their input.
Yes.
Again, I mean, Lucy is so comparative to me, I think, in that kind of more foodie aspect. You and Caleb, I don't think, want to describe yourselves as people who love food or care about food or know food. And you guys absolutely do.
Well,
You're very humble about
Thank
it.
you.
And I think you guys do a very good job
Aw.
of food descriptions. But I like the, I guess, the different levels that we all experience it from.
And we had such a great
We had such an amazing
night
weekend.
and
This whole
great
weekend.
I mean, with all our friends, it was so fun. It was so fun.
Yeah, we got to connect and see, connect with and see so many people. This is one of those weekends that I will remember forever. Not that they're
It was
all
the
not
girls'
memorable.
last weekend,
Girls last weekend at
until
Disney
at
for
least
now.
Christmas.
Yep. So I'm not going to get into that because it makes me sad.
Aw,
But
are you gonna cry?
might little bit. Memories have been popping up on Facebook because we always tend to go around this time for Kaylin's birthday, and seeing them as 6 and 8 year olds or 8 and 10 year olds,
Oh, God, they loved
all
it.
wearing Disney head to toe clothing and wearing ears and being in the parks with us every second. It's just those definitely were tugging at my heartstrings these past couple days looking at Facebook
Aw.
memories. I'm going to miss them there in the parks. Luckily we live with them, so I get to see them all the time. So that part's pretty good. But no, it'll be interesting. It's going to be an interesting year as far as that goes.
Yep.
But I think it's also going to be an interesting year in the way that we get to continue to consume and bring content.
Absolutely.
And, our next trip here is 3 weeks. And we're going to be there with Kat and Michael. We are going to be staying at Riverside unless something changes. We're looking at some other options with maybe DVC rentals. We'll be hitting up Festival of the Arts. We're doing Cirque du Soleil, Drawn to Life.
Yes.
We're going to look at some new dining. We're going to experience the Super Bowl. Hopefully, maybe we get to see someone we really like in a Super Bowl cavalcade on Monday at Magic Kingdom. We're kind of looking at that. So that's going to be an absolute blast, and we'll get a lot of feedback and content, with Kat and Michael as well. So we're very excited there.
Yep.
If you don't want to miss any of this, then you got to hit subscribe so you can get those brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.
Or go to wonderlandcrew.com and join our Patreon group.
And you get even more.
Yep.
Because everything we're talking about, for the most part, we often live stream.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to take a look at that. We will have another Anyone Can Cook this month. We always do like a happy hour. We do a movie watch night. So all kind of cool things at wonderlandcrew.com for our Patreon group. And everything that is pledged or contributed into that, trust me, is going back into the show to bring
100%.
you so many dishes at Festival of the Arts, to stay new places, to do events and things like that. So we would love if you at least just head there, check it out, make a decision for yourself. You're already on the internet. You're already subscribing. You're already on like iTunes or Google. So we would absolutely love if you could give us a rating and review.
Because it'll help our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.